Okay, we are live. All right, welcome to tonight's FWMoA Live. My name is Alyssa Dumire, and I'm Director of Children's Education here at the Fort Wayne Museum of Art. And I also oversee the Scholastic Art Writing Awards for our region of Northeast Indiana and Northwest Ohio. This program is made possible through the generosity of the James Foundation and Lawrence Building Corporation. The Fort Wayne Museum of Art is funded in part by Arts United of Greater Fort Wayne. This activity is also made possible in part by a grant from the Indiana Arts Commission and the National Endowment for the Arts, a federal agency. I am so excited to introduce our two guests for tonight, two artists who have earned recognition through the Scholastic Awards throughout their high school careers. If you visited the Scholastic Awards exhibition the past few years, you will probably recognize their work. Martin Mbuguah, also known as Toscago, is a 2020 graduate of Southside High School who currently attends the Maryland Institute College of Art for painting, film, and business, overachiever. And Alyvia Luong is a senior at Carroll High School whose photography has earned 7 individual awards at the regional level this year, as well as 2 portfolios earning a regional recognition and 4 national medalists or national medals, which we will talk about in more detail tonight. Welcome, both of you. Thank you so much for being a part of this. I had planned to give a little overview of the Scholastic Awards program for anyone not familiar, but I think that would be more meaningful coming from the two of you. So what do the Scholastic Awards mean to you, and what has your experience with them been like?
Do you want to go first?
You can go first.
To me, the Scholastic Awards have meant a sort of like awakening for my art and everything like that. Because before I got into Scholastic, where my teacher pushed me to like get into these competitions, I didn't really see art as like a viable thing, or even like I didn't even know that I had like a skill for it really in any sense until like she made me enter the competition and I finally won. And then that sort of like recognition sort of was like the catalyst for me to be able to push myself forward, and then also drive myself to like create more, branch out more, and eventually, get to the place I'm at right now, so it means a lot to me.
What about you, Olivia?
Yeah, it was definitely like a huge starting point for me. I think the first time I entered was in 8th grade. I only got an honorable mention, but like having made aware that this contest existed pushed me to kind of keep entering over the years, and I think total I've won a little over 30 accolades from it. But yeah, like it definitely pushed me to be a better artist, and especially after I won the national silver back in sophomore year, that's when I started to take my work more seriously, and I was like, okay, if my work can achieve this much, I think I can achieve even more, like outside of just this competition.
Yeah, they've been such an important encouragement for so many people. I know for me personally, it was that too, and I only won 2 when I was in high school. So yeah, so the Scholastic Awards are for anyone not familiar with a brief overview, it is a national program overseen by the Alliance for Young Artists and Writers, and the Fort Wayne Museum of Art is the regional affiliate for Northeast Indiana and Northwest Ohio. So on display now through April 10th are all of our regional award winners here at the Fort Wayne Museum of Art. If you haven't gotten a chance to see it in person yet, I hope you will. And so just yesterday, the national medalists were announced, and the regional awards, so the Gold Key Awards from the regional level go on to national judging, and 22 works from Northeast Indiana and Northwest Ohio earned a gold or silver medal at the national level. So we're still so excited about that. I want to take a moment to recognize and congratulate all of those students before we delve into our conversation with Alyvia and Martin. They're usually recognized in a ceremony at Carnegie Hall, which will be virtual this year. And yeah, I hope you will come see all of these in person, because they'll actually get to stay here for the duration of the exhibition. So I am going to share my screen so we can take a look at all of these together. And we'll end with some work by Martin and Alyvia. So starting with the silver medalists, we have Sabine Croy from Carroll High School, Aria Davis from Shawnee High School, Bailey Grieve from Marion High School, Michaela Havison for writing work from Homestead High School, Emma Hildreth from Canterbury High School, Susanna Kukowska from John Adams High School, Alyvia Luong from Carroll High School, Brian Navarro from Warsaw Community High School, Maura Slofer from Carroll High School, and the gold medal works. We have Ava Crane from Carroll High School, another work by Ava Crane from Carroll High School, she had two, Grant Dale from Northfield High School, Morgan Dick from Whitco High School, Annalise Pizarro from Northrop High School, Alyvia Luong from Carroll High School, Elliot Straka-Kitch from Canterbury High School, Bayan Eunice from Carroll High School, and the American Visions and Voices medalists, which are the best of show from art and writing. We choose 5 from each art and writing as nominations for this best of show award. And so these 2 works received that best of show award as well as a gold medal. So Victoria Boast from Stryker High School and Chris DeWeese from Canterbury High School. Outstanding work. And so this year we had 4 Gold Key portfolio works that went on to national adjudication. 3 out of the 4 earned national recognition. So we have 2 silver medal with distinction portfolios. One goes to Grant Dale from Northwood High School, or Northfield High School. And one goes to Alyvia Luong, which also earns a $1,000 scholarship for this work. Olivia, I'm going to bring up your other one first too, and then you can choose. We can kind of talk about both of them, because Olivia also earned a gold medal portfolio, an award that goes to 16 students from the entire country and comes with a $10,000 scholarship, which is such an incredible achievement and so well deserved for this portfolio. So Olivia, you want to tell us a little bit about your portfolios? I can go back to the other one if you like. Kind of.
This one.
Want to start with that one?
So I started this portfolio like sophomore year of high school. It was the bottom 2 in the right corner. Those were like my initial works that kind of jump-started this entire project. I refer to it as an ongoing project because I still am adding to it even after I won an award for this and submitted it as just these 6. But a lot of my work is based on current events, and it's really fueled by what makes me passionate and the things I'm angry about, the things I wish I could change, or even like personal experiences. And something I really find interesting about my work, I guess, is that it continually finds relevance to current events over and over again. Like, for example, the picture with the American flag painted on hands and everything like that. I made that about a year ago to talk about the rise in Asian American hate crimes. And in light of the current events right now, like that's relevant all over again.
Yeah, sadly still relevant.
And in this portfolio, I kind of explored a whole different style that I had never done before. I was kind of trying to portray it more in like a cinematic sense. And I was just kind of using my art as a way to sort of heal and process everything I went through. And I don't know, it was really a turning point in my creative career, I would say, because it forced me to push myself in ways I had never done before. And luckily, I had the guidance of Martin to help me out and keep telling me, like, I think you can do better than this. I think you can do a better shot. You know, he was constantly pushing me. And I think that's what really helped me get to where this portfolio got.
Yeah, they do. They really do feel like film stills, which I think is so interesting. It makes you really imagine this whole story. And together like this, you can really see this whole story play out. So that kind of brings me, I wanted to ask, and I think I'll go ahead and ask it now. What percentage of your work is planned ahead of time, and how much is kind of improvised along the way?
I would say with this portfolio, even though I like sketched out the ideas ahead of time, it definitely was more like in the moment where I was like, okay, I don't think that's how I want it to look actually. And then I would change the different position or like move myself and then self-timer it again and again. But with the other one, the other portfolio, that required a lot more planning for each piece. Um, Essentially, I would pretty much write down all the statistics and facts I could find on the topic and really over educate myself on it before I actually shot about it. Um, and I guess like I also sketched out all the ideas for this, which really helped me kind of just put together the vision that I wanted.
Yeah. Do they ever turn out exactly like you picture in your head?
For the most part, yes. But there have been times where I've had to like redo certain shoots and stuff like that. Um, the one with like the triptych of just me, like the self portraits. I actually had to shoot, edit, and like also even plan that whole thing out in less than 2 hours, because it was a young arts assignment. So I was really on like a time limit, but I made it happen. That was just more like in the moment type of thing.
Yeah, and yeah, it really comes together, and they feel so. There's such emotion behind that one, and the way you have your models pose and everything, it all really comes through. Um, we'll talk more about. I want to talk to you more about that young arts thing in a little bit, but I want to bring up some of Martin's work now. So Martin, this is the first work that I remember from you back in 2018, but I did some digging today and it is not your first Scholastic Award. So you won one in middle school. And I didn't put it in here, but it started with a painting in middle school. But yeah, I remember this was the work that went on the side of our building on the banner 3 years ago. And I would say, though, that this is probably your most memorable from a couple years ago. Can you talk about this piece a little bit?
Um, this piece was kind of it was kind of like a big turning point for my like painting and everything like that. Because like this was the year that I started painting actually. So I wasn't really so I'm like really new to the medium. I don't know exactly what I'm doing or what I want, but when I did this painting, it's like 5 feet tall or whatever. It was the first time I had ever done anything that big, and I wanted it to be layered because my first painting was like still really big, but like I wanted it to be like really layered and everything like that. So I picked like a subject that was like really weighing on my mind at the time, and it was just like the callousness of like those who have but don't care about those who don't. I think that was really being pushed on me because I was just hearing a lot because there was a lot of riots going on in my home country of Kenya, and a lot of that it scares me because it's the poor people who are over here fighting these conflicts and everything like that. It's these poor people who are fighting to with these like age-old battles, while those who have just sit up there and watch from their high skyscrapers as the world burns, because it's not going to affect them. The city being burned down is only hurting us, the people who are like at the middle or at the bottom, you know. And like it has like a lot of influences that I've like picked up over the course of my life, like you can see like the scene is based off of like John the Baptist and everything like that. My sister, she was going to become a nun, and right now she's getting her master's in theology. So like so those stories have always been like a real core in my family, in my life, and I thought that that would be a good translation of the, you know, type of story that we wanted to go.
Yeah, very nice. And then you had, so this work, the one that we bought, this is actually on display right now at the museum, our purchase award. And all of your paintings, are all of them still kind of part of this same universe, telling the same story?
Yeah.
Could you talk a little bit about how that came about?
So something that I find like really important about art making, or at least with my philosophy when I started creating and everything like that, was the idea of like preservation. Because storytelling for me has been like a really big part of my identity, or me growing up and learning in my family and everything like that, especially traditionally, because that's how different ideas were passed on over time, where I'm from. And my grandpa would tell me stories, and my mom, and then my dad. And that idea of being able to like immortalize a feeling, or immortalize a idea or somebody through art, was a stuff that I wanted to take, and to create like an entire world out of it was something that I got really excited about, because it was like it's something that I hadn't like seen. I'm like really big into movies and like books and fiction and stuff like that. So like, like J.R.R. Tolkien, like his entire world and everything. I wanted to kind of be able to create something that fleshed out um with art, because I hadn't seen anyone who had done like something like that before. Because it's like it's like a big commitment to like make one, like an entire world for the rest of your life or whatever. um so I can understand why nobody would have done it, but I just wanted to kind of pursue that, and then with it be able to tell different stories, tell my emotions, tell give like a voice to people in my life who had helped me, and they weren't able to express themselves visually the same way like me and Olivia can. uh, and yeah, it's kind of what pushed me to make the story.
Do you think you will ever move on from that universe you've created?
Man, I always get hung up on the idea of like, do I want to at the end, because it's gonna still be a while, but like I always wondered if I wanted to like end the story at some point while I'm still alive and everything, and then just see like what it means for like the world just perceiving it, or if I want it to be like a story that after I die it's continued on by like other artists and everything, like because everything I make is like really collaborative. Like me, obviously, me and Olivia collaborate all the time, so I really appreciate that um, aspect of art making. So, you know, but that's far away, so who knows?
Yeah, there's a lot of possibilities there, though. And so now we're coming into your more recent work. So these three are they all part of kind of a smaller series within this?
Mm-hmm.
So you want to, and were they made like 2020 or this year?
Yeah, they were made 2021. It was part of, I had to make like eight different pieces in like a matter of like 30 days or something like that. And this was part of that whole, you know, mind thing. But these are paintings that I've been planning since like I've started, actually. With this model. Actually, this model is in one of Olivia's pieces too. So yeah.
Oh yeah. So do you want to tell us a little bit about these series, and I can flip to the next one whenever you're ready.
Oh, okay. So these pieces are about cocaine addiction. It's a topic that me and the model in this piece had been planning to talk about for a long time, because drug addiction in America in general is kind of seen with this stigma. So talking about any sort of drug addiction would be a an endeavor into breaking down that sort of stigma that lies around like people becoming addicted to drugs, the people who do them, what those people are like. And me and her talked about wanting to like humanize these people and their stories, and being able to push through that stigma and create a sort of sympathy by making art with it and telling the story as well as we can. Because I think it's hard sometimes for people who aren't who aren't a part of like that community or whatever, who have like been in attached to a drug or become sort of complacent with with their addiction and everything like that, to really understand what it's like for them, and what it means to, and it's not just some easy thing that they can give up on, like, oh yeah, oh okay, I don't want to do it anymore, guess I won't, like it's not. And people, and I think that's where that stigma is formed and everything like that, because you think to yourself, if it's bad for you, why don't you just stop, and that comes from a place of ignorance, and it comes from a place of not understanding what these people's stories are like. And if you're stigmatized in society, nobody's even going to listen to your story in the first place, so they're stuck in this like loop, because you're looked down upon first off, and then whenever you try to speak about it, nobody cares because you are who you are. And me and her were going over that type of thing, because she's known people in her life who have gone through that, and so have I. And you just, this piece is called The Introduction, and it's about a sort of the introduction, like the beginning stages and everything like that. Like, the figure here is just sitting there idly and everything like that, and a hand is being reached out to her, asking for help. Well, not even asking for help, just an offer of comfort to her, but she doesn't know behind her there's something lurking that will change her life.
I love this reflection in the back.
Yeah, it's inspired by Van Eyck, that one painting.
Yeah, the wedding portrait.
Yeah, I thought that
coming
painting had symbolic value with this too, so that's why I put them together. Because that wedding painting is made, the wife in that wedding painting, she died before the painting was finished. So like when you look at it like that, it kind of has this solemn nature to it, like it's kind of like a memoriam for that woman. And then so I was like, this piece could kind of be like that for the character in it.
Yeah, they have such this series. I'll go to the next one. They have such a mood to them that they feel very much a unit, the three of these. What about this one?
This piece is meant to describe like the euphoria of it. Cocaine is like a really it's a short but like really fun drug for people and everything like that. And depending on the way that you ingest it, like if you inject it, you can like get high within like a minute. No, not even a minute, like 10 or 15 seconds. Or if you snort it, it takes like a minute. And then it's this really wild ride that you don't really have control of and everything. And that's why in the like figure, in the like the painting and everything's like in motion, it's all moving really fast. But she, even though she's in the driver's seat of like the car, real like in real life and then metaphorically, she's not controlling it. It's the man that was leaning behind her before, his hand is the one controlling the ride, and she's just there. And I kept like the same sort of like color scheme with the pieces, like that, like red, like that red, green, yellow, bluish type color. But then it was like a study in being able to change color range and how that fixes the mood, because like you can see, even though in the last picture it's like the same it's the same exact palette, this is a much darker, and then this one is much lighter.
Yeah, there's it's really beautiful in some spots, which I think fits with the message. About this one.
And this is the revelation. This is like the come down from the high. And it's meant to be like a turning point in her storyline. That like I'll probably continue later, because what I found out about whenever I was researching this and I was talking to different people and different addicts and everything like that, I found that the realization, because the come down hits you really hard, because a cocaine high is only like the 20 minutes, 15 minutes, and then the amount that you need to overdose is only a gram, and the amount that you need to get high is like 0.5. So like like the range for you to die and get high is very, very close. So it's like a big shock to you when you're getting down at that on that high, and then you start contemplating what's going on. Why are you even here? How did I end up in this place? um I, I'm not happy the way that I was before. I want to be back there. I want to be the person I was back there. And in this piece, I wanted to show that sort of stark um, stark sort of realization of what it means to be in the place that she's in. And then from here, you have like two different choices. And that's like contingent on like the type of, person sometimes that you are, or like the type of support system that you have around you. And that choice and it's not even like a choice sometimes, it's just like two different paths, I should say. One is to go and try to get better, or the other is to keep going on your same road, get back in the car, and keep trying to fill and keep trying to stay high so that you can be that person that you were before. And that's like the sort of like tragic aspect of it. And I think the in the piece and everything like that, across like the whole board and everything, it's like a snowy environment. Like in the background of the first piece, you can see outside the window there's snow, which is like a symbolically showing the cocaine and everything, how you're becoming surrounded by it. Like before it was just outside and you're like a window watcher seeing it, being there and everything like that. And like you're like, oh, should I go outside and like be around? And then the guy's inviting you to go outside, and then you get in the car, and then you're on this wild ride, and then you end up here and you're just surrounded by it. You're almost trapped in a way, because he's not even in the car anymore. Like he's all the way, if you see him, like he's just by the light. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I love the transparency here too. She's kind of fading into this background.
Yeah, yeah, the losing yourself aspect of it. Yeah, literally. Yeah.
It all comes through. So I am going to stop sharing my screen for now, but it's great to hear kind of the process of these, but we'll come back to it later. We're kind of gonna step back. How did you both first become interested in art?
You can take it.
Okay. I've honestly been into art like my entire life. Growing up, I was like that weird art kid who just sat and drew all the time, like doodled on all my papers. But I guess like I didn't start taking it serious until I got to high school and started taking classes for it. Started getting graded on my work and actually having to like really perfect my skill. Um, but it's just been something I've just really wanted to pursue my entire life. I grew up telling everyone I will be an artist when I grow up. It really sucked at first because a lot of people would tell me like, you're not gonna make it, you're not gonna make any money, like it's not worth it to pursue art. And it's just like, well, here I am. Like I've gotten pretty far, I would say, and I feel like I'm just beginning my career.
Absolutely. So for you, it's been your whole life. You knew you were going to be an artist. It wasn't like a switch that flipped when you became like an artist versus. So it's just something that you're interested in.
Yeah, for a little bit, I did lose like sight of it, and I was like, maybe I don't want to pursue art. Maybe I should just go into the med field, like how everyone wants to do, or something like that. And it was just like a conundrum for me, like, do I do this or that? But in the end, I decided to go with art because that's my passion and what I know I'm good at, and what I know I can grow in and actually enjoy.
I think we would all say that you've made the right choice. What about you, Martin?
I am so like when I was younger and everything like that, like I wasn't always like on the art track, but I always knew that I liked making art. Like when I was in because I came here when I was like 7 or something. So I don't know what grade that is. I think that's like second grade, third grade, something like that. But we used to have like time to like paint in class or whatever. And I remember like being really like enjoying that, and that being a really fun time. And then whenever we moved into my house, I didn't have cable, so on PBS, you catch that Joy of Painting with Bob Ross. Yeah, represent. And that was always like a really dope turn and everything like that. But I'm always been like uh really interested in like mathematics too and like physics. And before I wanted to be an artist, I wanted to actually be like a quantum physicist. Just because, you know, quantum physics is almost like magic in a way. Like I don't even know how to describe, like you can do so much. And I get really excited about stuff like that and like science and everything. And it wasn't until like 2018 that I started seeing art more and more as like a way for me to grow as a person. And then it wasn't until I started painting in 2019 that whatchamacallit, that I realized that art was like a way for me to have like a clear voice and to be able to help people the way that I wanted to be, that I've been helped my entire life. Because like there were a lot of times in my life where like I felt really like isolated and in a lot of solitude because I didn't like have any friends. I didn't speak English. I don't have any friends, or I'm a weirdo. I don't have any friends, you know? And then every once in a while there'd be people who'd like come reach out to me, and then they'd be really warm and inviting and make me feel like I was like a whole person, you know, or like I was an important human in the world. And whenever I started making art and I was like telling somebody's story, and then they came to me and they were like, wow, you really depicted this well. Or like some random person, some stranger would come to me and he was like, I really like associated with this, like that filled me with like, oh wait, I'm doing like whatever helped me, you know. um and from then on, like in those past like 3 years and everything, I've been trying to like push myself to create more and better art, and hopefully, you know, make art better in the future and push art to a higher standard, you know,
Yeah,
and
I
give
think you're
back to
doing
what
it.
gave me. Thank you.
So going along with that, how did you guys kind of, because I think you're both pretty, you work in a lot of different media, but you've kind of found kind of niches for yourself in painting, Olivia, or in painting for Martin, and in photography for Olivia. But so how did you kind of settle on those chosen materials?
Martin, do you want to go or?
No, you got this. You got
Okay. So, I wouldn't even say I like have settled yet. Like, I still want to pursue maybe like cinematography or something like that, or like just branch off from that portfolio and kind of expand to other artworks. But I guess like what I really like about photography is how accessible it is. Like you can do it on your phone, you can do it, you can buy a camera and take photographs. And it's not even really about the equipment, it's just about how you can capture this photo or, make art out of that. And I guess it's really nice that you don't have to invest in a whole ton of art supplies and equipments and stuff like that just to take a simple photo and still make it look like art.
it.
Yeah, and you have a studio in your basement, right? So that helps too. But I think that's a really good point that you can set something up like that with relatively few materials and kind of, yeah, that's a great point. What about you, Martin? What about painting attracts you?
Um, I think that painting really attracted me because before, like obviously I did color pencil and drawing and everything, but whenever I started painting, it was like a lot more fluid, a lot more fluid of a form of creation. I had like a lot more control, and like I could do like big things, or like I could be really precise if I wanted to. And I think that control over it was really like fun for me at the beginning and everything. And then later on, I just came to appreciate, you know, like the sort of history that painting has and like tandem with like humanity and everything. Um, and what that meant for like storytelling. Uh, because like, you know, humans have been painting forever, like cave paintings to like warn people about, I don't know, buffalo outside or something, or like yeah, you know. Uh, so being able to like carry on that sort of like tradition in a new form in in like the 21st century and everything like that, with new issues and new stories, uh is something that makes me like, you know, like really love painting. But even then, like I like other mediums as well too, like obviously film. I really love film, and I like a lot of my pieces and everything. I think are like kind of like cinematic in a way, in the way that I set it up. I feel like you could tell that influence of it a lot of times. And like I really hold this belief in my head that like if a lot of like cinematographers or whatever or like directors were able to paint, they'd be like goated painters because the way that they just compose shots, it's so amazing. And like if I could even like get a like, handle of that talent, I I feel like I could help art too, and like tell stories better.
There's certainly some overlap. So I know you are starting to kind of branch off into film and those other media. So what do you hope that will bring to your work?
I want to be able to sort of layer my narratives a lot better, which is something I think that like film teaches you a lot of, and like being able to compose shots better, all of those little discrepancies that you don't think about when you're painting, because with painting you can basically do whatever you want, but like, um, I want my because I'm telling like a continuous story and stuff, right? Or like a connected story or whatever, right? So I want it to feel like episodic or feel cinematic in a sense, like when you're viewing it, like imagine you go to like a show of mine or something in the future, and it's just like you're watching like a thing play out in front of your head, like all around you. Um, and I think that would really help. Also, I just like in general, I like the idea of collaboration, because I don't want my story, like this story, to basically just be like contained within paintings or just drawings or just 2D media. That's why I like I really love sound editing and stuff like that, and I like adding like atmosphere to my pieces because I create like a little sound. I don't post these most of the time, but I create like a soundscape for each piece. And like one day I wanted to be like, you go to like to like a show of mine, and then you put on some headphones, and then like you're like immersed in it.
Yeah, like a whole
um
VR experience.
yeah, exactly, yeah.
Mhm.
And I think that would be really dope because I think that's what art is like right now. Like it's a lot of plurality. And I want this story to be able to like embody that.
Yeah, totally. So on that note, since we've been kind of mentioning collaboration, how did your guys' collaboration come about?
Um, I think Martin was like the first person who really believed in my art because I started out posting photography and it's like obviously not the best. I was not the most experienced in it, but he was like, "Hey, we should collab sometime." And then was it you or me that suggested like I take a reference photo and you paint it,
I
or did
don't
we?
remember. I think it was a both, yeah, probably.
Yeah, but it took us a few months to set up, honestly. We were talking about it for like 4 months straight. And we were just both always so busy. But at some point I think he was like, I'm serious, like I want to do this. And I think it was because I posted my pool and then you were like, hey, I think we should shoot inside of that. And
Yeah,
I was telling you, like I got an underwater camera from my teacher, like just for over the summer. And you were like, we should definitely do something with that. So I think that's
yeah.
like where it really all started. I actually have that piece right
Yeah,
here.
I've got it.
Oh,
Yeah, I can share it on my screen too. I've got them side by side. So give me just a second.
yeah, there you
But
go.
All right. So do you have more collaborations planned?
Oh yeah, of course.
I mean, I feel like we haven't had time to really collab because his school schedule and everything, like as of lately. But I know we'll collab more in the future, like
Yeah.
always do.
Yeah. Has it whenever you have, has it always been kind of that like photographing source images and then Martin paints? Martin, do you like direct while you're shooting or anything? Or how does that all work?
I think it's like I don't know, it's like a lot of like co-direction because like I really trust like Olivia's eye for stuff like this. So like if she thinks that something will work out or whatever, like even in this shot, like she's the one who suggested because I don't even know how to swim. So like she's the one who like knew how it was gonna work. And then she was like, you should like reach out to the top like in this way or something like that. And I was like, yo, that's fire. And I think even with her work and everything like that. Like I'll help her with like composition sometimes too, and then she'll help me. And with literally everything that I make or whatever, I'll always ask her. I'll be like, yo dude, what do you think about this? Is this garbage, or like, do you think I should fix this? And if she needs help with anything, like, I'm always there. Like even in the other paint in her other photos, like one of the hands that was grabbing onto like, where the one guy was getting choked, one of those hands is my hand, like so yeah.
That's great. And I like that you can, when you look at these photographs, they are obviously the same person, the same kind of scene, but they're very much their own thing. Each of them are. Yeah. So I'm gonna stop sharing my screen.
We always have like a good time collaborating. I don't think there's ever like a dull moment. Everything just clicks with us. We'll be like stuck on something. Like one person will be stuck on something, the other will just immediately suggest something new to fix. And it's just always like a back and forth type of thing, and it always works out.
It's so good to have those creative relationships. And in addition to Scholastic, I know you both were also involved in Young Arts and have received all kinds of other awards. Can you talk a little bit about that kind of recognition and what that's meant to you? And also just participating in Young Arts, because that's a really interesting program too.
Martin, you can go first because you were kind of the one that like encouraged me to do it this year. So
So I had heard about Young Arts from this person called Amanda Garkak. And she had been in Scholastic, and I remember seeing like one of her pieces, and then I followed her on Insta. Then I saw like, oh wait, what's Young Arts? And then I asked about that. So Young Arts is basically like another national program. It's similar to Scholastics, but instead it's broken up into like wider disciplines. Like Scholastic is like just like art and writing, but like with Young Arts they have like music category, dancing, theater, other stuff too. And I can't remember off the top of my head, but there's like a lot of disciplines that you can win in, and you basically just enter, and they have like a selection of, you enter like for like art, for the art section and everything, visual arts. You enter like a 10-piece portfolio, and then like you write something about it. It can be literally anything. Like we had people who were like sculpture artists, and then other who did installations, and then obviously I'm a painter and everything. um so, and then Olivia can tell you about like what it is for photography. But from that, like in my year, it used to be like you'd have like 22 finalists or something like that. But in my year, like I don't know like why they decided to cut it down so much, but it was like 10 or 12, so like they cut it in half. Yeah, so it was like I didn't know that until they told me, and I was like, wow, this was uh hard apparently. And you go through like a lot of rounds of judging. But that competition, like, and coupled with Scholastic, really helped boost my confidence in my art. And I was able to meet like a lot of creative people from all different fields. And I love collaboration, so I've gotten help from people who are in like film, or people who are in like dance and everything, with like my pieces, or people who make music to help me sonically. So it opens up like more windows for you also, which was dope. And it helped me get into this program called Presidential Scholars, which Olivia got into too. So proud. And that helped me out with like college and stuff too, because like that like I got like a scholarship from that, from my school, and they helped me out. So that was fun.
Yeah, that's amazing. What about you, Olivia? Anything to add?
Yeah, I agree. Like Young Arts and Scholastics really did boost my confidence as an artist. Martin I used to always just bug Martin, like, hey, do you think this is ugly? Like, should I change it? I think I've like kind of cut back on doing that, because it's like, okay, my work is quality because I've like achieved really well in these competitions. But during my Young Arts week, everything was virtual, sadly. Like we couldn't go to Miami, obviously, like Martin could, but it was still like a really fun experience. And I would say it's like life changing, because I was surrounded by people who were just as passionate as I was about what I was doing. We had like artist talks, like almost like TED Talks from people just like Brooke Shaden, or Paul Motley, who's like the Time editor. Corinne Botts, she sold about 30,000 copies of her photo book. I don't know, it's just a lot of just being surrounded by a lot of accomplished artists and like them telling us their tips and how to make it in the art world and stuff like that. It was just really, really eye-opening, and I really enjoyed my experience there.
That's great. I feel like you guys are kind of you're the hope for Scholastic and these programs, is that we hope that they will build this kind of community, that you'll connect with each other. So it's so nice to hear that that's really happening. And I do want to pause momentarily because we are kind of nearing the end. And so anyone who is watching, if you have questions, we will get to those hopefully before we finish here. But I also want to ask, so what are your plans for the future going forward? Both like with your work and career or school. What are you going to do next?
I have honestly been waiting to graduate so I don't have to take general credit classes and like be kind of bogged down by having to do all this schoolwork while also trying to pursue like my art business at the same time. But I'm gonna be going to school, the Art Institute of Chicago. They gave me a 6-figure scholarship, so that was really nice. And I think I'll be able to sort of like mix what I already do on my own with whatever assignments they give me or whatever. I think it's going to be a lot easier for me to collaborate my schoolwork time. I already spend my art.
Yeah, congratulations, by the way. What about you, Martin?
I just I want to like keep like moving forward in my career and everything like that. I'm like you already know, like I attend Micah and everything like that, and I didn't get to go to campus this year, so I missed like my whole freshman year experience. But I'm hope next year campus is opening up, so I'm really excited to like get to meet these people face to face and like get that community. Like the professors are already like super nice in real life, but I can't wait to like meet them in real life, you know, get knowledge, see how tall they are now. But I wanna I'm also like in a residency right now, and I want to like keep finishing that up and making new art for them and everything like that, and just, you know, generally like getting better at art.
Yeah, can you tell us a little bit about that residency program?
It's at this place called Fort Wayne that's hosted at the Atrium. It just started this year, so me, this dude named DJ